I'm the Commissar, we're watching Forged Alliance Forever, and today I have one of the most insane games I have ever seen. Some of you may have seen this before because Teacup cast it recently. I was going to leave it to him, but I've had several people asking for my personal take on it, so here goes. I have linked Teacup's video in the description below. I encourage you all to go and watch it, but in the meantime, let's get stuck in. This is a ladder game, so you know the drill by now. We have the hot team, we have the cold team. Let's start down here with the hot team. This is Sailor Moon, 1517 rated, and Cybran, he is in orange. Centrally for hot team, this is Khal. He is 1532 rated, he's UEF, and he's in burgundy. And last but not least, in fact I think he's the highest rated player in the whole game, this is Dimitri 11, but the 11 is silent, so we're going to just call him Dimitri. He's 1891 rated, he's Seraphim, and he's in red. Facing off against them on the cold team, we're going to start up here. This is Strike. He's 1428 rated, and Cybran, he's in mauve. Here in the centre, this is Katawunga, 1679 rated and UEF, he's in dark blue. And last but not least, whom we saw in Sunday's cast, this is DillyDally. He's 1751 rated and he is Cybran, he's playing in baby blue. So, the map. First things first, where's all the reclaim? I'm showing you the reclaim. Look, there's 20 reclaim there, there's 20 reclaim there. There's also like a tiny bit of trees and stuff scattered around, but that's it. People are just going to have to rely on their mexes. I hate having to do that when I'm playing. But we can also see there's a lot of mexes underwater. This is water, believe it or not. It looks like mud, but it's water. See? Look, there's waves. Sort of. Anyway, it's got a lot of mexes under it, and naval play is going to be crucial in this game. I cannot overemphasize how important naval play is going to be. Big expansions here can easily be raided, either by hover tanks, to which only Dimitri has access at Tech 1, or a lot of these, like here, 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 can probably even be ranged by frigates, let alone Destros, at a later stage. So this is going to be all about the map control, all about raiding each other's expansions. There's only so much terrain you can cover with a comm. The map is 20 by 20, but at a guess, I'm going to say this is actually 12.5, because 20 measures from here all the way across to here. So, enough waffling about the map. What strategies have we got in play? We've got Naval Yard already finished here for Kata. No naval yards finished yet for hot team. They're both about half done from Dimitri and Khal. I'm also going to say that I think that cold team are just a little bit faster to the Mex expansion from both Dilly all the way up here and from Strike, and that's backed up by the eco, where cold team have just the slightest lead, though it's not a great deal at the moment. I would check the reclaim, in fact I will, but look at that, there's nothing, there's absolutely nothing on this silly map. Who designed this map? I will tell you, the Neuroxus map generator, and I have sung its praises in the past many times. I love it. So, I'm not going to argue too much with that. We already have a submarine out here from Kata, which could get some nice denial done. Depends who it attacks though, because at this stage, you don't expect one submarine to get any naval factory kills. You only expect them to get NG kills. And these NGs from Khal can be targeted by a submarine because they float. Their UEF engineers see them floating there on the surface. But these engineers from Dimitri, they hover, and so the subs can't hit them. But Strike is not relying on subs, he's relying on this bomber. And it could get some work done if it's not spotted. Down goes one NG. These mexes aren't denied yet because there's still a couple more NGs here, and Dimitri has got an Inti coming to pick it up. However, the bomber's going to get another pass. One more NG down, but that one's going to survive and the bomber gets shot down. Now Dilly is going straight for Tech Tool Navy. 4 minutes in, 4 minutes 40, and he's already nearly halfway to Tech Tool Navy. That's very fast. And here, this sub has tried to do damage, but it can't really hit anything because, as we covered, these engines are all hovering. And there's a sub here from Khal, which can take the fight. Meanwhile, Dimitri has brought this frigate in, which absolutely can target engines and is getting kills, but the subs can target it. Over here, Dilly's got a bomber in, and that's getting a bit of work done, but there is an anti-air tank which shoots it down. The frigate has got 4 NG kills, which is great, but the subs kill it. Probably worth it though, I think. Now Strike here, he started the torpedo upgrade on his comm, which is great on a small naval map like this. I love it. He's going to be able to get some good work done with it. Have we got any T2 response yet to Dilly? We haven't. But they know it's happening because they will have seen that going up when Dimitri's frigate came in here. Meanwhile, Kata had tried to expand this underwater mechs, but Khal's denied it with subs. However, that's a lot more subs coming in from Kata and from Strike, and they're going to be able to see off Khal's subs. Down here, it looks like Khal is getting into the water and taking those mechs rather better than Code Team is at the moment. But in turn, the subs from Kata and Strike are going to do the damage right there. And Strike has had to pause the torpedo, and he was, you can see it regenerating now there, he was power stored. He'll have managed to get that in hand now, but he'll be a little while before he can resume the torpedo upgrade safely. That's going to be a delay he doesn't want. Meanwhile, those cold subs are getting mixes here, but Khal, Dimitri and Sailor are all massing hordes of subs here in order to take the fights. But he's losing the mexes, so, you know, swings and roundabouts. Strike's going for more T1 bomber play over here, but he hasn't got much done. 1 mechs down? Before the inti from Dimitri stops it. Meanwhile, though, this could be the game changer. We have a Destro out from Dilly sailing forward there. And immediately we see Dimitri starting on the naval upgrade. But he's already starting on the upgrade. Dimitri's got a Destro out. However, this is a lot of subs swarming around for a hot team. And that might be enough to take out 1 Destro. I don't know. We're going to have to see. Only the Destro in... There's 2 subs there from Dilly, but look at this swarm of subs from Hot Team. Nevertheless, the Destro is going in. It's gonna try and take the damage. Let's move it around here to see what we can see. The Destro is not keen on that many subs. It's already taken a few hits, and it's gonna fall back. But meanwhile, these frigates come swarming along. And I think we're going to have to watch both of them. So, the subs are chasing the Destro and they're going to sink it. But look, there's now nothing here to stop these frigates. And they are mashing, absolutely mashing, the build power belonging to Dimitri. Down goes the Destro, but we've got another one already out from Dilly. And that might be able to deal with that many subs. But look at this. This is insane. 5 frigates, and there's nothing to stop them. 9 kills, 3 kills, 3 kills, 3 kills, and 4 kills. They're just toasting these engineers, and more engineers are coming out. But what are they going to do? They're just going to be shot. Khal there was just straight up reclaiming them. Meanwhile, this Destro is shooting at the subs, and there aren't quite enough subs to take down a Destro. And the frigates just continue to do the damage. This is insane. 10, 5, 6, 8, and 8. So that's like 40 engineers that these frigates have killed. But now a Destro rolls off the line for Dimitri at last. And it's going to be able to defend. Meanwhile, these subs are being cleaned up. Now, if we take a little more of an overview here, we can see that Dimitri has managed to pick up quite a lot of these underwater mexes. Khal still has a couple as well, and Core Team simply haven't. And if we look at the eco difference, it's basically just those mexes. So at the moment, the naval control is also what's giving Hot Team the eco control, and that could be important, I've got to say. Meanwhile, though, Strike has finished the torpedo and his own Tech 2 naval upgrade, and he's almost finished with Nano, so he's absolutely planning to use his comm offensively under the water. Meanwhile, though, in comes Dilly, pushing in with his stealth fleet of destroyers backed up by a couple of frigates, and there's as yet only this one destroyer out for Dimitri, and therefore Core Team, they have a naval advantage that they can really push. They might be able to get some significant damage in at this stage. But Sailor is dropping here on the left. A bunch of arty and a couple of anti-airs, they could get some real damage done on Dilly's eco if Dilly doesn't counter it. But Dilly doesn't have to. The Strike was going to drop, but instead of dropping the enemy, he comes and drops defensively on Dilly's flank, and these tanks will be more than a match for arties, because tanks can just drive underneath arties. So great counter from Dilly, and Strike rather. But Dilly is still going to be losing at least 2, maybe 3 mexes from this. 3 mexes easy, right? Yeah. However, we have hot Destro on Destro action down here. We now have 3 Destros out from Hot Team, as Khal has also come up to T2. But we have 4 Destros out from Core Team, back down to 3, so it's looking pretty even Stevens as we go. However, this is quite neat. Dimitri has used the Serra power of being able to submerge his Destros, so now all these frigates are just not contributing to this fight. It's just the Destros and the subs who are firing their torpedoes. Of course, the Serra Destro is almost as good as a sub hunter in its torpedoes. So this is good play from Dimitri, but there might be enough Destros from Dilly to hold him off. I think Core Team still has a bit more navy, and Kata is also coming forward, but why? He hasn't got torp. Here on the left, Sailor has again dropped Dilly, taking out 4 mexes. Here on the right, that torpedo comm is now coming into range, and it's going to be driving these Destros back. Little amount of Destros here, but this is a big force it's got to contend with. Over here, Dilly and Strike are able, between them, with bombers and tanks, to take out the drop, but it's taken out 4 mexes, and look at this, there's now a 30 eco lead for Hot Team. So, can this naval push take it back? Still not sure what Kata is doing up here, but either way, the pressure here is real. Well, that's what he's doing. He's going for tactical missile. I am gonna love this if it gets some decent shots off. That naval yard has actually got TMD. But this could be a good target, so could this. Meanwhile, we have a Salem coming down to harass Sailor from Strike all the way down here. And Sailor has started the torpedo upgrade, but he is forced to cancel because there's this Salem coming naughty walkie onto the land. It turns, trying to flee the Mantis, but looks like Sailor's going to be able to bring in his comm and overcharge it. And down it goes. Meanwhile, though, in mid, we have a huge Destro fight coming out here. 5 Destros here from the Core Team, plus the torpedo comm. And there's only, what, 2-3 Destros here from Hot Team, though another one is rolling off as we speak. And though Core Team outnumber them, Hot Team have their production right here. Got a couple of torpedo defenses further back, and it looks like Sailor is also bringing out T2 Navy, but this torp comm is beginning to get work done. Meanwhile, Kata has finished the TML, and he's trying to fire at this naval yard. Is he going to get a hit? He might. But a TMD goes up in the nick of time. Either way, the HQ is hit as the second TML fires. Meanwhile, the Seraphim and Cybran Destros are exchanging fire. Another TMD going up, and this one is intercepted. The naval yard is going to survive, and that immense horde of NGs have repaired it. The damage, however, is real for Hot Team's navy, as Cold Team have an enormous amount of firepower to bring to bear. And now Kata is sniping the radar at T2, he's sniping T2 mexes. This could hurt the eco for Hot Team quite a bit. A note up here on the minimap, some cheeky NGs from Strike just capturing Dimitri's underwater mexes while Dimitri is busy microing his navy. That said though, Cold Team have fallen back a bit, but Kata is still getting these hits on Sailor's eco with his TML, and these are a lot of T2 mexes going down, and he just keeps on firing, and as a result he's brought the ecos level again, and with this hit I think he'll bring them into the lead. Boom, and he does, and that was it. That must be reclaim related. Maybe, maybe not sure. Yeah, it was. Okay, it's gone back, but either way, the ecos are now back in balance. However, Kata's comm, I think, has been spotted. Do they know about it? Absolutely they do. And it's being pinged, so these Destros could come and get him as he fires off another tactical missile. But it seems like these Destros are more interested in taking on this eco over here than they are in coming back and hitting that comm. I think that's a mistake. I think they should go and get that comm while they have the chance. Nevertheless, they're going for Dilly's eco, and these T2 mexes that he's so lovingly rebuilt, they're going down. Over on this side though, Strike has dropped some NGs, and under cover of fire from this Salem, they're going to build a beachhead here, and there's nothing that Dimitri has here to defend from them, so that's pretty nice. Khal is bringing his Salems onto land here, and the eco damage is gonna be pretty brutal against Dilly here. What's he got to defend? Well, his comm's right there, and under fire from 3 Salems, his comm might actually be under quite significant threat. Also, sneaky little drop from Sailor here, creeping up the side. Nice. However, we gotta check over here, because we have a big push coming in the water from Cold Team. Meanwhile, Dilly has snuck in behind this Salem. Remember, Salems can't fire backwards, and he's just firing overcharges into it. Boom, down goes the first Salem. Katawunga, meanwhile, has come out of the water after Khal's Destros, and he will try and sneak up behind them as well, and these Destros could, if they notice, so easily turn and take out a comm, but they're not. But they are not. Meanwhile, these Destros are coming out from Dimitri. Over here, however, the beachhead is getting pretty well entrenched, and Dimitri has bringing his comm out in person to take it on, while this Salem walks up onto land. However, does Dimitri know there are 2 more Salems? That could be a dangerous place to stand. Khal has only 1 Salem left over here. Ooh, Kata tries to TML it, but the Salem stops at just the wrong time, and the TML misses. However, we got bombers, we got a comm, we got arty firing on this Salem. It's deep into the red. I don't think it's going to survive much longer. But look at the damage it's done. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There were 10, 11, 12 mexes taken out for Cold Team. That's horrific. And look at Hot Team's 40 eco lead. But the Salem goes down. However, while we were staring at all of that, Hot Team have managed to push back quite hard in the middle. In fact, they have a monopoly on Destros in the middle. And Strike's Torpcom is having to run away. But we need to look over here, because I don't think Dimitri realised there were 3 Salems. And so his comm goes in and kills 1 Salem with an overcharge. Fine, that's cool. But his comm is under fire from 2 more Salems and a decent amount of spam. He's running, but he's into the red. He's into the red, and I don't think he's going to get out. Boom! Dimitri, the game's highest rated player, is our first ejection at 19 minutes, and he has not been able to clear Strike's beachhead. That's going to hurt. However, now it is Hot Team who are pushing in navally, and Cold Team who are reduced to desperate production in the name of defense. However, They do have Destros coming out. They still have the SupCom of Strike, who has got immense amounts of work done, 7k massacred. A bunch of Destros swarm him though, he's got to be careful. Meanwhile though, Strike's got this naval yard up over here, and it's immensely heavily assisted. And he's using it to bring in sub-hunters to cut the destroyers off, and so his commander looks like he's going to get out of there. In the middle, we have these forces pushing Sailor back just about, but the Destros from Khal, they're coming up to try and take out this production from Strike, and I think he might have enough to do it despite the sub-hunters. They're swarming in. Heavily assisted it may be, but my money is not on that naval yard right now. My money is on these Destros. However, we do have torp bombers coming in order to try and help them out, see if they can hold off this army from Khal. And Sailor he doesn't have the torp. He's cybering, sure. Does he think he has the torp? There are 5 Destros here throwing torpedoes down on him. He's got nano, so he's got some survivability. Is he out here for reclaim? Now, the torp bombers can't hurt these Sailors if they get onto land, whereas all of that bird power's down, the factory's going down, and there's now a cruiser coming in from Khal, which should be able to handle the torpedo bombers unless they target it right now. Meanwhile though, Sailor, what's he doing? There are 5 destroyers here. Is he mad? He is shedding health like nobody's business. This naval yard is going down, and I think that what's his name? Strike might be about to take some eco damage here. This is going to hurt. No, these Destros are falling back. Sailor, what have you done, my man? What have you done, my dude? You are going to die. This is a huge heap of Destros. And he dies. Did he think he had torps? Sailor, tell me what was going through your head right there. And Khal's Salem's fall back. I think with the demise of Sailor and Khal now all on his own, he thinks he needs to recall these to defend. Now, somehow, against all the odds, Khal's T1 spam is holding back at this beachhead. Down goes one of the last Salem, I think. And this production isn't enough. Khal is swarming in. But over here, this is a lot of Destros, and Khal is going to have his work cut out in order to deal with this. The fleet is pushing in. Can Khal stop it? He's starting on Tech 3 Navy not with the Sarah, with the Cyberns down there, and he'll need it if he's going to try and hold these back, but will it be in time? But this might help. That Navy that was doing so much damage to Strike up in the north, that's sweeping in from the side, but now all the Destros are swarming away to focus on it. And I think this relief force is just going to get shredded. It's not going to survive very long. Look at that. It's taken out a couple of Khal team's Destros, I think, but it's all dead. That's brutal, and Khal team are gotta be loving this right now. That said though, he's got the T3 Navy, and the first battleship is out as we look at it. That could make all the difference. And immediately it opens fire with its amazing range. It's got to sneak its way out past these tactical missile defenses somehow, but it's got the range, it's got the firepower. Can it do the job? Maybe it doesn't need to get out if it's got that much range. And another battleship. Look at the amount of assistance. Only a second ago we said the first battleship is out. Well, look at this. There we go. Now the second battleship's out. Madness. And see him sinking. Khal team are losing stuff as Khal gets his navy working. Let's have a quick check on the flanks. Here on the left, Khal is losing mexes. I think he hasn't even noticed that he's losing mexes, including this delicious T2 mex to a bunch of little cheeky bombers from, I think that was Strike, might have been Dilly. But over here, his T1 is actually winning the day against the beachhead. Good work from Khal. He's defended over here. Anyway, back to the middle. And I do believe that Khal's battleships are turning the tide. Now, while all that was going on, we saw in the chat that Dimitri isn't happy with Khal, but, you know, Dimitri's dead and Khal isn't. However, we also see in the notifications that Strike has finished T3 Air, and I don't believe Khal has even started it. No, he hasn't. That could be a game changer as well. In come Dilly's Destros. But the battleships are holding them back. We now have 3 battleships. He did have to destroy that TMD to get the battleships out. We now have 3 battleships on the field for Khal, and those Destros simply can't make any headway against that amount of firepower, and he's got a couple of Salems messing around to add to the fun as well. He's also on his way to T3 with this HQ, and I think those Destros really want to be able to get it down before it completes, because T3 will add a lot of hit points to that HQ, and Khal will be able to build sub-hunters from a Serra T3 HQ. In comes Dilly with the frigate, so let's look a bit closer at that. But there are Destros here, there are battleships here. The frigates are trying to swarm the battleships, but Serra Destros are amazing against any frigates. And Cyber cruisers aren't that bad either. Also, he's brought in a torp bomber, but that's probably going to die quite quickly. Strike's torpedo com joins the fight, but it's too late. That naval HQ has completed. It's building sub-hunters, and I would not want to be a torpedo com standing too close to Serra sub-hunters when they come out. And these Serra torpedoes from the Destros, which are almost as good as T2 sub-hunters, are also there, and so Strike has no choice but to fall back. And meanwhile, Kata has dropped a sneaky base back here, and he's building a tactical missile launcher. He's already managed to kill a few mexes with those bombers, and that tactical missile launcher could do some more work. We'll check back on it later. But this naval fight is where we need to focus right now, and look at that. That's being completely cleared of Strike stuff. So is this going to be the greatest comeback from Khal? Maybe, if he notices that proxy base that Kata's built down at the bottom. 4 battleships now for Khal. This is great work. 4 battleships, Destros backing them up, Cyber and T2 sub-hunters backing them up, T2 torpedo defences in the base. I think Khal might be on track to win Navy. However, Strike is dropping a load of Mantis in here. Can they get the damage done, and will Khal notice? Will Strike notice that he's dropped the Mantis? They're just standing still. We'll check back on them later too. Now, Cyber and battleships do have torpedoes, but not enough, I think, to really threaten Strike. They're like T1 sub-levels of torpedoes. This, however, this is enough to threaten Strike. A T3 Seraphim sub-hunter backed up by a bunch of Barracudas, and Strike might actually be in severe trouble here as Barracudas and Yatsu T3 sub-hunters and Serra Destros swarm around him. He's losing hits like anything. He's not going to survive. Despite his 5 vets, his massive amount of mass killed, boom, Strike is taken out by Khal just under half an hour into the game. That's amazing. Now, look at how much, though, that Khal has lost to Kata's proxy base. He's losing mexes left, right and centre to the RT is spamming out, the tactical missile is firing out and taking yet more damage. Look at this. And so Cold Team are, they're 100 ahead in eco, and that's basically all down to this. That is amazing. These Mantis have also got a little bit of damage, but Khal's been able to defend with bombers. However, this could be the comeback he needs. 100 eco down? Sure. But he's got 4 battleships. Has he still got 4? 1. Okay, he's got 3 battleships left alive. plus sub-hunters charging into Khal Team's naval base. And we do have T3 naval production on the field from Dilly, inherited, I believe, from Strike. But there's already a T3 Navy in the base here for Khal, and Khal has torpedoes trying to bomb them out. Khal and Khal are easy names for me to confuse for me. They both begin with K and they both have A vowels. Sue me. And we've got another beachhead going down here, and I don't think Khal's noticed that yet, because it's going up uncontested with quite a lot of build power. We'll check back on that as well. We just got to check back on everything because there's so much going on, as there's now 4 battleships again. He's been reinforcing. That's a lot of torpedo bombers, and this battleship is about to go down. And there's also a Galaxy-class battleship out for Dilly as well. I think that Khal needs to push in while he has the advantage, because there's so many torp bombers, and he hasn't got ASFs. He's only got T1 inties to counter them. Where are his cruisers? Where is anything other than battleships and torps? Well, they're nowhere. But has he got enough battleships and torps to do the job? A second battleship rolls off for Dilly, but this is a lot of anti-navy firepower coming in from Khal. But Khal still hasn't started T3 Air anywhere, as far as I can see. No, he hasn't. And so, what's he going to do? However, he's losing a lot over here. This proxy base has done a bit, but this broadsword, whaler rather, this whaler out from Dilly has done even more. It's a T3 gunship, and without T3 Air, what can Khal do? He knows about this little proxy base now, and he's swarming T1 Arty out from his land factory to take it. Battleships are going down for Dilly, and now the sub-hunters are swarming around the naval yard. The battleships are bombarding the naval yard. I think they're going to lose the T3 HQ. Another battleship comes out, but it's too little too late, and the T3 naval HQ is being heavily focused by multiple battleships, multiple sub-hunters. It goes down. There's still a T2 HQ here, but without the ability to produce battleships, that's going to cripple Khal Team's navy. These whalers will do a good job, but there are now cruisers coming up in support. However, this one whaler is just sniping Khal's mass. Look at these capped T2 mexes just being eaten for free with only a couple of T1 inties to stop them. They're barely scratching that whaler. Over here, a swarm of arties coming down on the proxy base, which is firing its missiles out at some of these mexes over here. That should be enough. We'll have to check back though, because we have to keep an eye on the naval fight. If they can take out this naval HQ as well, that will be amazing. That last battleship from Dilly goes down, and there are still 2 battleships, a couple of cruisers, a couple of destros out for Khal, and they are getting the work done. And this is painful, but also Khal Team still have twice Khal's eco, and that gunship is right. Look at all these mexes it's picked off. This is insane. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. There's like 20 mexes there that used to be Khal's, including several T2 capped core mexes that are no longer his. And he has got just enough by the looks of things to take up this base. Well, now he doesn't, because there's T2 point defense under a shield going up, and that'll just kill the arty. So maybe he hasn't won that base after all. But he is repaying the favour. Look at the mexes being just smashed out in Kata's base by Khal's battle fleet. Dilly is massing torp bombers up here. Khal is just producing them and sending them in. But there's cruisers now. There's more cruisers coming in, which should be enough to take out the few torps that they have. The air HQ goes down for Kata. Why do I keep confusing Kata and Khal? It's infuriating for me, it's infuriating for you, and yet it continues. Either way, Kata is losing his eco, and he's losing it hard. He still has a massive eco lead, but how long is that gonna last? Back at base, Khal's cruisers have finally taken out the gunship, but at what cost? This eco damage is insane. And he started work on a chicken under the water, but how's he going to afford that? Meanwhile, those arty, they haven't been able to take out all the production in this base. There's still a factory, there are still engineers. It was almost enough, but not quite. So Kata still has an emplacement down here in the bottom of Khal's base. This isn't an emplacement though, this is just an entire navy. Now we have an immense amount of naval yards being spammed up here for Dilly to try and counter it, but they're all T1. And it looks like Khal has noticed, and he's thinking he's got most of the work he's going to do here done, and he has. Look at all that eco damage. A wave of torpedo bombers comes swooping in. It's going to kill the cruisers, but there's still cruisers over here. And this navy should be able to take out this naval yards no problem. And look at that, there's still enough cruisers left to utterly shred Dilly's remaining torpedo bombers. I don't think this is long for this world. And I think Dilly might agree, because some of these aren't producing. This one with all the engineers, it isn't producing. And the battleships come charging towards it. How long is this going to last? This T2 naval factory is producing reasonably fast, but it can only produce frigates because there isn't an HQ left. Meanwhile, if this is good from Khal, he is sending swarms of engineers in here, and this is why. Look at that. That is tens of thousands of reclaim just waiting to be scooped up. And Dilly here is trying to get a bit of it, but if Khal can grab it with this swarm of engineers, it will give him the eco he desperately needs, because look at that. Khal team have 5 times Khal's eco. Is Khal power stored? Oh, okay, yes he is. Khal is way power stored. And what's he got to rebuild it? Well, nothing really. He's trying to build this chicken with a vast horde of engines, and that's where all his power's going, but he can't afford it. He can't afford it, and this emplacement is slowly rebuilding and slowly capturing Khal's spexes. Over here, the beachhead has got a T2 land HQ on it, and Dilly is sending units into Khal's base. But will it be quick enough? Because Dilly's attempt to set up a naval yard has been utterly crushed. He's losing an immense amount of build power. He's lost an immense amount of factories. But while his navy's over here, both Dilly and Kata are rebuilding, and there's only one Destro trying to do a little bit of tickling to see it off. I mean, Destros aren't bad, but one Destro on its own, there's a lot of torpedo bombers. They'll kill it quite fast. Meanwhile, Kata is now building a line of factories, and he's swarming out with T1 arty of his own from the proxy base. And look at Khal's eco, he's down to only 23. Sure, he's insanely power stored, but even if he doesn't, his mechs are all being killed again. T1 tanks are in there, another whaler is in there, and he's just not got the T3 air to stop it. Does he have any air tech at all? Yeah, he's got one T2 air HQ left, which is slowly producing torpedo bombers, but look at that counter ticking up so slowly. He just hasn't got the mass. This is where all his mass is going. And to be fair, he's nearly completed the chicken. But will one chicken be enough to turn the tide? Meanwhile, though, the Navy has come on up here, and it's flattening the expansion. The expansion is just spread out, undefended mexes, and they're all going to die. But that doesn't change the fact that Khal team has 10 times Khal's eco. How much reclaim has Khal collected, though? Why am I looking at it there? How much reclaim has Khal collected? He's collected 120,000 reclaim. Hot team are 20,000 ahead on total reclaim. But even so, there's still a huge total eco collected lead for Khal team, which is not surprising. Again, Dilly trying to get set up into the water. Again, Khal sending his navy to just shut him down like whatever gets shut down these days. And let's take a moment to appreciate the complete devastation on both sides. Khal has nothing here. Khal has almost nothing down here. Dilly has nothing here. Dilly has very little here, and Khal's even got a little drop in there, doing a little more extra damage. This is devastating. And in come those battleships again, preparing to do the damage. We're nearly 40 minutes into the game, and less than half the mexes on the map are actually claimed by either side. Can anyone say scorched earth? Meanwhile though, Khal has been doing bravely on little eco, but we've got a nuke going up for Kata. Could that be the last straw for Khal? However, Khal has finished the chicken. It's got a long way to walk. Remember, this is a 12.5k map, I think? So it's not that big, but it's bigger than small. That chicken has a long way to walk, but I don't think that Cold Team are expecting it. Cold Team have not a clue that it's coming. And so it could be a very unpleasant surprise if and when it comes out of the water. But will Khal survive that long? Look at this. His mechs is over here. They're going down to T1RT. He's got T2 point defense, and that'll clear up some of it. But if the T1RT just swarms around it, it'll go down. And okay, that one's going to survive for a little bit longer, but the mechs are dead. It's just a firebase defending nothing. And look at this. Khal's entire base eco is dead. His production is basically the eco on his comm, and that's it. And so, sure, Cold Team have, 45 times Hot Team's mass, but in any other circumstance we'd laugh at them for being under 100 eco 40 minutes into the game. This is wild. And Khal's Salems are just marching across the right flank, denying everything that might come that way. These T1 bombers will work through them eventually, but Khal is just bringing his engineers onto the land, trying to get power generators up. Is that what Khal is actually trying to build here? Yeah, it is. He's thinking that he's unsafe on his territory, so he's building his power generators on Cold Team's landmass. That's mad. I love it. And the battleships are still blasting things away in Cold Team's base. Both the cold comms have hidden in the water at the back, which is wise, because the Salems might walk across here, but they'll have to cross the landmass first, and Khal doesn't have the air to put up torpedo bombers. And there are gunships now, which were a much better counter to Salems, especially when they're on land. But that's a lot of Salem to work through, and the Salems are still doing damage. And here's Khal trying to get a PGen up, but look how long it's taking. Look at that. We've been watching it for 5 seconds, and it's got 1 more hit point out of the 2200 it needs. I do not think that PGen is going up, and I don't know what Khal can do now that the only eco he's got is the eco on his comm. But the chicken is out of the water. The chicken is out of the water, and it's getting into Kata's base. And Kata's base is just going to get flattened. Sure, there's a couple of gunships, but a couple of gunships takes a long time to work through a chicken. And if and when this T3 PGen goes down, which Khal really should focus, that could hurt Kata quite a bit. Okay, the battleships can do that. And he's brought the chicken within range of these cruisers, which should hopefully, for Khal, be able to take the gunships down. And the chicken advances. Kata has his air HQ over here and a few more T3 PGens, but Khal has a chicken, and the chicken is still in the green, and it's walking in. A little bit of T2 point defense is not going to be enough to stop it, and the chicken charges forward. And it flattens everything. It's going to flatten everything. It's still well into the yellow. There are more gunships coming out, but how long is that going to last when the air HQ goes... Oh, please, please. Khal, take out Kata's air HQ while you can see it. Yes, yes, there we go. Sure, I know the chicken's under fire. I know the chicken's taking damage, but now he's got no power, he's got no air HQ, and the chicken heads on for the water. And there is a torp launcher in the water, there are the gunships above, but if the chicken could just ion storm these comms to death, that's as good a way to do it as any. And I would just like to take a moment to appreciate this. Look how many mechs there are. 25 eco for cold team, 1 eco for hot team. Like 90% of the mechs on the map are dead. It's completely scorched earth. And sure, Khal has a naval base, but he's got literally one building. One building. A T1 tracer anti-air turret on the land. And Dilly is trying to reclaim the chicken, which is trying to stomp Dilly to death. And the chicken is so deep underwater the gunships can't hit it, but the reclamation might do the job. And Khal control K's the chicken to use the ion storm on Dilly. That's amazing. I absolutely love it. And look at that ion storm. It's hitting Dilly like nobody's business. He's already lost half his hits. Kata tries to run away. The iron storm's not hitting Dilly anymore. I think he's deep enough underwater. I think he's going to escape, and Kata picks himself up and he's going to fly away. He flies over the iron storm, which might be a mistake. No, the iron storm's not going to hit him. And Dilly and Kata survive. Meanwhile, Khal is coming across with his comm because he thinks that his own naval base is unsafe. And this naval HQ is going to go down to these rhinos, but what does it matter? What can Khal build with it? And the broadswords and well, there are broadswords here. I don't think there are any whalers left. Come flying across. So does Kata, but Kata sees there's a cruiser there and he flies back. He's not going to risk getting shot down, and that's the right move. Those gunships could probably come back and take the cruiser, but don't risk your comm while there's still a cruiser there. Kata is going to fall back. Very strange game. I didn't... Did Khal have support ECUs? Is he lying? I didn't see it. Kata says he clicked draw. There are still some Salems on the land here. Where are the gunships? The gunships could come back and shoot these Salems, and they absolutely should before they get in the water. But Khal says, oh, are we really going to see a draw? These Salems are coming. There are 5 Salems. That might be enough to take these comms. But where are the gunships? Come on, where are the gunships? My dudes, these Salems are coming in. But Kata clicks draw. Khal clicks draw. It's a draw. My dudes, it's a draw. The game ends in a no-score draw. A peaceful resolution, and both sides left with nothing at all. Amazing. I guess that's it. They've agreed to peace. The infinite war is over. Peace in our time. Who do you think would have won, though, had that game been allowed to play out? Tell me in the comments below. While you're down there, don't forget to like, subscribe, and obey. I'm the Commissar. I will see you next time.